Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Rocket Chiro Podcast, the business and marketing podcast for chiropractors. My name's Jerry. I'm your host. Thank you guys for joining me once again. Thank you for your patience. Also, at the end of this podcast, I'll go ahead and give you guys a family update about new baby to the Kennedy household. I'll do that at the end because some of you who are listening to this podcast don't really care, and that's fair. So what we're going to talk about on this episode is we're going to talk about 5 things that I hate about chiropractic and 5 things that I love about chiropractic. I get accused occasionally of being anti-chiropractic. I feel like anyone that says that about me doesn't really listen to me or doesn't really even know me very well, because I'm a huge advocate of chiropractic and for chiropractors. With that said, I am fully aware of the fact that our profession has some major issues, a lot of them self-inflicted, and I like to point them out because I would like to see those things change. I'd like to see those things improve so that more people can experience the benefit of chiropractic. So we're going to talk about 5 things I hate, 5 things that I love. I'm just going to go over these things. Each of these things I could probably do a whole podcast about, but I'm just going to go through them. So hopefully this doesn't turn into an exceptionally long podcast. Now, before we jump into that, I do want to say, if you are a chiropractor and you want a better website, something that is affordable, that works well, that attracts new patients, go to Rocket Chiro and check out the Rocket Chiropractic websites. Also, if you are brand new in practice or you have gotten started within the last few years and you're feeling a little bit stuck and overwhelmed with running a business, check out my Next Step program. There are some really great trainings that are in there. It's a month-to-month membership. It's very affordable, and it's something that you can check out some trainings, get some baseline information for business and marketing, and really lay a good foundation to have the type of practice that you want to have and sort of get out of that rut that you're finding yourself in if you're just getting started or if you're feeling a little bit stuck. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. First thing, these aren't in any particular order, but the first thing that I hate about chiropractic is that I think that school costs too much. My criteria for that is very simple. When I sold my practice, basically what was told to me is that the gross collections of the practice over the course of a year sort of gives you a ballpark number of what a practice might be worth. Now, I know this is not true for all businesses, but just generally speaking, let's say a practice brings in $300,000, it might be worth about that when you sell it. If it brings in about $700,000, it might be worth that. If it brings in about $100,000, it might be worth that. Now, depending on different factors, that obviously changes some things, but that's the general idea. I actually take that same principle and apply it to schooling. And I look at it and say, what is the average income potential? What is the likely income potential for a particular profession? And how much are you likely to make in a particular year? Now, the stats on chiropractors is the average chiropractor makes about $100,000. Now, we all know that number is just an average because there are chiropractors that are making like $20,000 or $30,000 a year. There are chiropractors who are making, close to $1 million a year, or more, maybe over $1 million a year. So that number is just sort of an average. But if we take that number as an average and we say that chiropractors are on average making about $100,000 a year, I think that a chiropractor spending $150,000, $200,000 or more on schooling, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's out of balance of it's way too much for what your potential income is. If a chiropractor has the potential to make $50,000 a year, I think it'd be fine for you to spend $50,000 on your schooling. Therefore, I think chiropractic school is way too expensive. Now, I know chiropractic colleges are going to argue, and there's all kinds of points, and maybe my logic is just my own kind of Jerry logic, but that's how I look at it. And frankly, I just think it's too expensive. And if somebody were to come to me who is going to thinking about becoming a chiropractor, I would just tell them, you may be happy you're a chiropractor. You may love your career as a chiropractor. You may look back at it and it helps you achieve everything that you ever wanted within your profession. With that said, you still spent too much money on school. It's too expensive. Second thing I hate about chiropractic is that there's no jobs available, or at least no good jobs available, or I should say very few good jobs available. There are most medical professions, like I've used my wife as an example many times, as she's a nurse practitioner. When she got out of school as a nurse practitioner, she was an ER nurse before that. And when she got out of school for both of her careers, she could work for a hospital. There was clinics that would hire her. There was a place where she could get a job. She didn't have to own a business. She could make a very good living doing her profession. there are a lot of medical professionals that are that way. Chiropractic's just not. And I'm not saying that it's chiropractors' fault or it's the profession's fault or whatever. I'm just pointing out that it's that way. I think it's unfortunate that a chiropractor can't just go to chiropractic college, graduate, put in a job application in at a clinic or a hospital or whatever, make a 6-figure plus income and not have to ever own a business. I think that would be great. Now, obviously that would hurt my particular job of teaching chiropractors how to run small businesses, but I don't think running a small business is for everyone. And a lot of people who become chiropractors don't really take that into consideration, that that's sort of part of the gig, unless you find one of these rare occasions where you find a really good associate job or a really good opportunity as a chiropractor or as a partner. Most of the time, those don't exist. If you want to make a good living as a chiropractor, you have to own your own business. I do think that that's unfortunate. Third thing I hate about chiropractic is the poor insurance reimbursement. I believe that this is partially our fault. Chiropractors, anytime you give them something good, they find a way to ruin it. Insurance reimbursement is one of those things. I also think that chiropractic care is not really, it doesn't really line up with insurance all that well, depending on whether you're doing a treatment model or you're doing like a wellness model of chiropractic. Also, I will say that the high frequency of care that chiropractors see, that also is not something that insurance companies is particularly going to like and care for. It doesn't really fit with the model. It's sort of an administrative headache, even if chiropractors were to get good reimbursement. Now, I know that there's a lot of really great cash practices, and if I was in practice again or still, I would run a cash practice. I would just bypass the insurance altogether. But if I could flip a switch and we could get good insurance reimbursement, that would help with the income potential as a chiropractor. That would help with being able to actually give jobs for chiropractors. That would help a lot of the other problems. I don't think that we live in a world where that's going to happen, but if I could flip a switch and make it happen, I would. And I think that that's one of the things that I don't like about the chiropractic profession, is that there's just no good reimbursement from an insurance standpoint. Number 4, the fourth thing that I hate about chiropractic is the lack of clarity. And I actually said lack of clarity and lack of quality control. I sort of lumped two things together. Maybe I should have made these two separate things. Chiropractors aren't really sure what they do. And chiropractors aren't necessarily good at what they think they're doing. And I hate that about the profession. I really, really do. Chiropractors, some think they're doing one thing, some think they're doing another thing. There are people out there that have a wellness model and some have a treatment model. And I think it's actually fine that chiropractic can be used all those different ways. I'm not saying that chiropractors have to do one particular thing, but chiropractors that have a wellness model will complain about the fact that people only think we do back pain or only think we're good for back pain. And I would argue that we haven't even done a good job of that. I think the numbers are like 80% of the population has back issues at some point in time, but 80% of people don't go to the chiropractor. And so we haven't even done a very good job of convincing people that we're a really good option for back pain. And so I just think that lack of clarity, like what value we have to offer, the fact that chiropractors are very unsure about it and they don't even know what we don't even know what we do as a profession. And then on top of it, I think we have a major quality control issue in chiropractic. Now, the good news is that even bad chiropractic gets decent results, but I just hate that chiropractors can say, oh, well, I adjust kids, or I do this particular technique, or I offer this particular service, or I do acupuncture, or I do whatever. And there's no real way of knowing in most cases whether they're actually good at that or not. It just makes me super skeptical of chiropractors. Even when I'm referring friends and family to chiropractors that I'm looking for something in particular, unless I know the person and I know that they're actually really good at what they do, I'm sort of just skeptical. Like I see on a chiropractor's website, they do all these different things and I'm like, oh, they may suck at all of them. I mean, they may have done one seminar and they tell everybody that they do those things. I own a pipe wrench and I know how to use it, but that doesn't make me a plumber. And I just wish that there was a little bit more clarity on what value we offer. I wish chiropractors were more clear on that. And I wish that they were better at the things that they do, all the things that they do. from adjustments to therapies to everything we do as chiropractors. I wish that just overall we were known for providing incredibly high care and a high quality of care. And I just don't think we are as a profession. Last thing that I hate about chiropractic is the lack of self-awareness. Chiropractors say dumb things. We do dumb things that hurt ourselves, and we seem to only be able to see the problems that the other people do within the profession. Really good example of this is I did that podcast recently where I was talking about why I thought chiropractors should not call themselves nervous system doctors. And there was a little blip in there where I specifically said that evidence-based chiropractors that are on the extreme side of evidence-based chiropractic sometimes hold chiropractors or hold wellness chiropractic or vitalistic chiropractic to a standard that's not realistic. Like the medical profession doesn't even hold themselves to that sort of standard. And the funny thing was, it's like one thing that I said about evidence-based chiropractors, and I had evidence-based chiropractors get a hold of me, and they're basically like, yeah, we don't do that. Like, we don't do that. It's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Maybe you don't specifically, but you do. And it's sort of the same thing with the nervous system doctors. It's like you say, oh, chiropractors shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't say this, or you shouldn't do that. And then chiropractors are like, oh, but, and they make excuses for it, or they say like, we don't do that, or that's not exactly what we do. And they're just generally a lack of self-awareness within the chiropractic profession that is just pervasive, and it drives me crazy. Absolutely hate it. It's hard to fix things when you can't see them. And, I know I have problems. I have problems that I can't see within myself. I 100% understand that, but our profession is ripe with that problem, and it sucks. It makes it worse. All right. I've been enough of a Debbie Downer. Let's talk about 5 things that I love about chiropractic. The simple one, the easy one, the softball reason that I love chiropractic is because it works. It's the reason I became a chiropractor. I was a skeptic right from the start. My mom referred me to a chiropractor because I had really bad headaches. I refused to go because I did not want to go to some quack chiropractor. I thought they were nut jobs. I thought this was pseudoscience. I reluctantly went because I was out of options. Nobody else was helping me. The chiropractor was awesome. He did a great job. He helped me tremendously. Frankly, chiropractic care has absolutely changed my life. It is amazing. It is awesome. Chiropractic works. It's fascinating to me that so many people will comment on like videos that I do and different things where I'll be like, oh, well, why did I leave chiropractic? I did a video about our podcast about why I left chiropractic. People make comments about like, cause it doesn't work. And it's like, things like that I see a lot. Now I don't ever respond because I think that anyone who says chiropractic doesn't work they're either ignorant or stupid. They just are. Because that's that's just not a true statement. You're either purposely saying it just to be dumb because you're just stupid, or you have no idea what you're talking about. Now, it's fair to say that some techniques don't work for some people, and it's fair to say that some techniques work better than others, and it's fair to say that some chiropractors are terrible at what they do. Those things are all fair, but to say that chiropractic doesn't work, anyone who says that, it's ridiculous. It's like when someone says chiropractic is unsafe. That's just ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous. And they are clearly either just ignorant or stupid, or they're just being purposely confrontational. It's not true. Second thing I love about chiropractic is I love the small business potential. This sort of goes against what I had said that I hate, as far as like, I hate the fact that there's not a lot of jobs available, but the flip side of that coin is I actually really do like the small business potential of being a chiropractor. The reason I decided to be a chiropractor and not a physical therapist, which is what I was originally going to school to do, is because of the fact that I could have my own clinic. I could run my own business. That was exciting to me. That was very interesting to me. So I like that potential is there. I like that you can make a really good living, have the experience of being a small business owner, create this thing your own way. And the chiropractic, there's a lot of different ways of doing the chiropractic business and kind of business model. I really like that. Now, I understand it's not for everybody. So the flip side of that coin is I wish the profession had jobs, really good jobs available for people who just didn't want to do that. But I would not want to live in a world where the small business potential and owning your own practice and the private practice thing that we have now, that completely goes away and everyone's forced to have a job working for somebody else. That's not what I'm saying at all. I like that there's a small business potential with chiropractic, and it's one of the things that attracted me to becoming a chiropractor in the first place. Third thing is this, something I love about chiropractic is the diversity of techniques and the diversity of options. This also is sort of the flip side of when I said there's a quality control issue. Years ago, I would have told you that chiropractic is a specific thing. I was very into upper cervical. I really frowned upon chiropractors doing a lot of different things. We referred to them as dirty mixers. It's like that was how we kind of referred to chiropractors who did other things other than the adjustment. I've really softened that opinion over the years, and I look at the diversity within chiropractic and all the different things that chiropractors do, from the adjustment to the different techniques that we do, even into some of the wellness things that are really not chiropractic, so whether that's acupuncture or soft tissue work or whatever. There's so many things that are offered within the context of chiropractic profession that I think are really, really great. I would love for everyone to have a high standard. I would love for excellence to be the thing that we're known for, but I don't think the profession's better off just being very, very narrow and only doing certain techniques because that's real chiropractic. I would have told you otherwise when I was in my 20s. I completely disagree. I've really done a 180 on that. I think the diversity within the profession is beautiful, that we have these different options. I just want everybody to hold themselves to an extremely high standard. So I like the diversity of techniques and the different options available in the chiropractic profession. I think it's great. Fourth thing, I sort of alluded to this already. Something I love about chiropractic is that it's safe and that it's a conservative care option. In a world full of surgeries and medications and all of these things, that everything has a price. Like there is no medicine that doesn't come with a potential downside. It's medicine gives, medicine takes. Therapies give, therapies take. Surgeries give, surgeries take. And even chiropractic, there's always the potential, there's potential downside with the upside. The thing about chiropractic though is chiropractic is so safe and so effective that the potential downside and the potential negative things that people experience by going to a chiropractor are so tiny compared to the relative upside. I just think it's amazing. It's incredible. We get great results as chiropractors. We rarely hurt people. The stuff that's out there where you hear things like strokes and stuff like that, where people are talking about these things happening, like chiropractors are out there killing people. I saw something in a Facebook group recently where they were saying, some physical therapists were saying, you should never adjust kids and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, physical therapists shouldn't adjust kids. Like, that's right. They shouldn't. And some chiropractors shouldn't adjust kids because they don't know what they're doing. But if you know what you're doing, you've been trained to do it, you know what you're looking for, then it's perfectly fine. And it's very, very safe. So something I love about chiropractic is that it is very safe. And I think way more people should be going to the chiropractor first before they're going and trying some other things that are less safe. Fifth thing about chiropractic that I really, really love is that it is an incredibly rewarding profession. Now, I do not mean financially. Being a chiropractor can be very financially frustrating and a huge struggle, which is part of the reason why I said that school costs too darn much. But if you've been a chiropractor, now if you're listening to this, you've never been a chiropractor, I don't really know why you're even listening to my podcast. But if you are a chiropractor, there's something about putting your hands on people and making a difference in their life. And I'll seriously, I get choked up about it when I think about it, because it's the difference you can make and the rewarding. Where chiropractic falls short from a money standpoint is unfortunate, but where chiropractic rewards the chiropractor in spades is impact. The difference, even if your chiropractor is not making a lot of money, which is unfortunate. We should change that, right? It's like improve your business, improve your technique, improve your marketing, improve your whole process, make more money. I'm all for it. But even if you don't, even if you never make the kind of money that you really want to make or that you should make as a chiropractor, you're going to be able to make a difference in people's lives by putting your hands on them and adjusting them. It's incredible. One of the greatest months of my life was the very last month that I was in practice. And I didn't tell anybody that I was closing my practice until the last month. We were trying to sell the practice. It just didn't happen. I kind of drew a line in the sand, and I just basically said, if it's not sold by this point, we're going to just tell everybody we're closing. We're going to take the financial dump, and we're just going to close the practice. That last month that I was in practice, we had told people, emails and phone calls, and we'd let everybody know that we're going to be closing up. We're only going to be here this last month, and then we're just closing up shop, and Doc's going to take his career in a different direction. That entire month, patients came in and they stopped and took a second to thank me. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest chiropractor in the world, but the entire month, people would stop and say, thank you for helping me with this. Thank you for helping me with this. Thank you for this difference you made in my life. Thank you for that difference. And within the profession, what tends to happen as a chiropractor is you sort of just solve a problem and move on to the next problem. And that's sort of the pattern that happens within chiropractic. Like you have new people that are coming in, you're constantly putting out fires. You know, it's like somebody comes in, they got this particular problem, you're working on them, you get them settled out. Somebody else comes in, they got this particular problem, you're working on them, you get this settled out. And sometimes you just sort of forget the impact you had on people. But if you have 4, 5, 6, 8, in my case, 9 years of practice, where I had patients, the very last week that I was in practice, I think it was actually the last day that I was in practice, my second patient that I ever had showed up for an appointment. So I had some long-term patients. I had multi-generation patients that ran my practice. And to have people come in and stop and say, thank you because you made this difference. This is different for my mom. This is different for me. You made this difference for my husband. Thank you. Chiropractic rewards you so much in that realm. And it is an amazing part of being a chiropractor. And actually is one of the reasons that I think a lot of chiropractors, even chiropractors that are struggling, continue to struggle and don't just quit and go do something else, is because they're so kind of emotionally rewarded by being a chiropractor, putting their hands on people and making a difference. And so it's something I love about being a chiropractor. It's something I miss about being a chiropractor. And it's something that anyone who is thinking about becoming a chiropractor, I do tell them, look, I think school's overpriced. I think the struggle is real. I think it's not for everyone. With that said, you're going to make an impact in people's lives and it's going to be incredibly rewarding. And it is one of the greatest things, if not the greatest thing about being a chiropractor. All right, guys, that's it. Let me go ahead and update you on what has been going on with the family. So my son, baby Jude Allen Kennedy, he was born on May 28th. I should remember that, right? Day after Labor Day. We went in on Labor Day, and I think it was Labor Day, right? Labor Day? Memorial Day. Was it Labor Day? It was a holiday. We went in on the holiday, and my wife went in labor, and he was born at 4 o'clock on the 28th, 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. Very long day. Mommy's doing well. Baby's doing well. 8 pounds, 7 ounces, 21.6 inches. So he's a tall, skinny boy, and everything's great. Other than it would be awesome if he didn't wake us up so much in the middle of the night, but that's just normal baby stuff. No complaints. Healthy baby. Mom's doing great. We've had some amazing friends and family supporting us and helping us. I did post a picture, only one picture. I probably should post more. I don't post a lot of personal pictures online, but I did post a picture with me and baby and mom on the on Instagram. So if you go back into May, look there, you will find it. But that's it. So hopefully I will get back to podcasting on a somewhat regular basis, and things will get somewhat back to normal. There'll probably be hit and miss a little bit throughout the summer, but he's doing great, and hopefully I'll kind of get back to doing some of the stuff that I normally do. Anyway, that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your patience. If you want help with your website, go to Rocket Chiro, take my free practice assessment, ask for help. I'll be glad to help you. If you're getting started in practice or you're frustrated with running a small business, check out my Next Step program. You will be glad that you did. It is an awesome program at an affordable price. I'm done. I'm out of here. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.